If you live in tropical countries, at the end of rainy season, October is a good time to prepare the seedling. And if you live in the cold climate, the end of winter, before the winter's end, is good to prepare the seedling also. But you need to prepare the seedling inside. Most of the plant, if we start with seedling, they will grow evenly and then grow very well. And then another good thing of seedling is the plant grow tall already. So when we transplant them, they can compete with the grass faster. Or if we transplant them in the bed that cover with straw, they're taller than the straw. So that one will help to make them grow fast. And then no weed after that. That's make it easy. There are some plants that don't like to do seedling first. For example, like dill, dill or coriander or cilantro. So this kind of plant is nice to sow in the bed directly. And another plant is vine plants like beans, all kind of beans, pumpkin, melon, loofah. These plants, they love to be in the ground directly because when the seed were buried underground, they grow very fast. There are many ways to prepare the seedlings. Most of people love to start the seedling in the tray like this because it looks nice and then it's easier to take care of them and move them easily also. To start in the tray, we start with the good soil, or we can use compost to fill up in the tray evenly. So it's good to use compost. It's not good to use coconut husk, the very fine coconut husk. That one, there's no food in there. The plant don't grow well. So don't use coconut husk alone. If you want to use it, it's good to add some chicken dung or compost with it. It will grow better. And then after we fill up the tray evenly, we start to make a hole. There are many ways to drop the seedling in the tray. Some people love to make a hole first and then drop the seed in the hole. But some people love to drop the seed in the tray and then use the stick to push the seed into the dirt. Either way is fine as long as we cover the seed under the soil at least 1 or 2 centimeters. That is enough. So the main idea is just how can we cover the seed? Don't let the seed dry. Don't let the seed exposed to the sun, and they will grow after that. Most of vegetable seeds, when we have them in the package, it's dry. But whenever it's wet, it cannot dry again. So we need to make sure that we cover them completely, because if it's wet, it start to absorb the moisture inside the seeds and then prepare to sprout. But if it exposed to the sun and then the water evaporated from the seed, and those seeds will die. They will not sprout anymore. So some people did not think about it. So they sow the seed in the bed and then the water one time in the morning, and then the seed wet in the afternoon. They have nothing to cover the seed. It dry up, and then most of the seed will not sprout anymore. And then they can blame themselves. I have a bad luck, or I don't have a green thumb. So actually it's about understanding the habit of the seeds. It don't need to be very deep to drop the seed in a hole. to cover the seeds. It's just enough to cover the seeds, because when we water, if it's too shallow, the water can flush the seed away. So it will move to another hole, or it will move out of the tray. So if we cover them well, and then when we water, it's important to not water with very strong shower. So if possible, we can put some cloth on top of the tray and water on top of the cloth or the net, so to prevent the the water to splash them out. Most of mustard green seeds, kale seeds, or broccoli, they will sprout in a few days. After a few days, you can see they start to germinate like this. You can see some hairy thing grow on the side of the root that stick out. That's the way they grow. A few days. The 4 or 5 days, they start to have the leaves open like this, and then the root, the stem start to grow more after that. After they stretch up like this, they will grow very fast after that. When the seeds sprout and the leaves open like this, they need to be removed to the sun. Before that, it can be in the shade, is okay. But whenever they start to have leaves like this, they need sunlight. If they don't have enough sunlight, they will stretch up too tall, too long. The stem will be too long like this. They will try to move to the sun. And then when they try very hard to get the sunlight, they will use most of the food to build the stem to stretch up to the sunlight. Then after that, they will be very weak. They can rotten and die. Or even we transplant them, they don't grow well after that. So try to give them enough sunlight. They will be healthy and strong. When the seedlings have more than 4 leaves, and then the height of the seedling taller than 3 to 4 inches, that is the good time to transplant them in the real bed. If we wait too long and the seedlings too old, they don't grow fast. They can grow but not grow fast enough, don't grow healthy enough. So it's better to not use them. This is a perfect seedling to be transplanted. This is high. The height is good, and then the leaves look healthy. So just pull them out carefully. Don't break the ball of the dirt that hold the roots of the plant, and then drop them in the bed. It's good to cover the bed with straw, thick, a little bit thick, so it will help to prevent grass. But this time we don't have straw. We're waiting for new straw, but not ready yet. So I think about to use some leaf or grass to cover this bed later, but now I don't have it yet, so I just transplant them first. After I transplant them in the bed, I just cut the grass nearby, very fresh grass, and I cover the whole bed with the fresh grass like this. You can see this is a plant that I just planted them. So they will be protect very well from the grass. This grass will dry up soon. When the sun come up, they will dry. But the plant will be healthy after that. Another technique how to start the seedling is I prefer to make the bed and sow the seed in the bed like this directly. And in one bed I can have many kind of seedling by divided into section. There are a few section. When they grew up, I can transplant them later. Only a few weeks, they start to grow like this. And then if a little bit longer than this, we can transplant them. That's easy too. Some season, it maybe have more pest, more snail, more thing to disturb the plant. We can make the raised bed like this. We can do the seedling like this. It helps to protect the plant from many things. For celery, it's easier and better to do the seedling in the small tray like this. When they grow tall, we can pull them out and transplant them later. With this technique, they grow better, and then it saves a lot of time. Sometimes when we plant the seedling of celery in the tray, it's so hard because the seed is too small. But if we plant in the bed on the ground, they don't grow well, but in the tray is better. If we do the seedling with this technique, it's better to look at the weather before we transplant them, because we need to pull them out and transplant them, so they will be very weak in the first week. So if we can check with the weatherman, if there's no sunlight, if it look cloudy like this for a few days, for 5 days, you can transplant them. They will not die at all. But if there's a lot of sunlight, it's better to put the stick around the bed and put some tarp or something to cover them to prevent them from the sunlight at least 5 or 6 days, and then you can take the tarp out. All of them will survive very well. To prepare the seedling for the big trees, it's better to start in a plastic bag like this. This is durian trees, durian seed. So if we start the seedling in a bag, they will grow better, and then let them grow tall, at least about 1 foot before we transplant them. They will be strong, and then they will survive more. The fruit trees or trees is quite easy to do seedling like this. Prepare the seedling is very fun because it's the beginning of taking care of our health, because this plant going to be our food, and the food's going to be our body, our mind. So this is the beginning of taking care of our body, our life.